In this video, we're going to talk about managing the emotion of surprise. Hi, I'm Ron with Lead Skill. We develop tools and techniques to help leaders manage their emotions better, more effectively. And in this video, this is part of a series of working with emotions. We're going to focus on each one of the 8 core emotions on the emotions wheel. And for today, we're going to talk about surprise. Now, right away, you may already be wondering to yourself, like, surprise, how do I actually manage surprise? I mean, isn't surprise by definition something that you don't expect? You don't really know it's coming? Well, let me give you an example, something that happened to me just this past weekend that I think really illustrates how to deal with surprises that are unexpected, things that come up. So my family was driving home and it had just started raining. We live in Houston. It wasn't raining really hard, and I didn't really factor this in, but I took off around an intersection. It was a double turn lane, and we went into a slide. I didn't realize what happened, and I was trying to correct, and I was really surprised because the car wasn't responding. We ended up hitting the opposite curb, and obviously we hit too hard because there was quite a bit of damage to the right side of our car, the wheel and some of the mechanisms there, control arm and those sort of things. So short end of the story is that this ended up being like a $2,700 accident, single car accident that I caused on my own. So it was a big surprise, both in the moment, dealing with the loss of control on this slick road, and then afterwards getting the repair bill, which was quite a shock, in fact. So working with emotions on the wheel, surprise is down here in the light blue, I won't call it quadrant, but in this corner of the wheel. And the 3 emotions on this wheel for working with emotions is surprise, obviously, startled, confused, and amazed. So as I think back in the moment, what was going on for me whenever I went into the slide? Well, I was obviously confused because the car wasn't responding. And I was also startled because I felt out of control and I didn't know where we were going. And I was actually, one of the contributing causes is there was a big truck on our rear bumper tailgating us. And so I was rushing a little bit, probably going a little faster than I should have through that intersection. And so in the moment, it was a total surprise to me what was going on with this accident. And then the damages afterwards, just hitting it and trying to assess, can we even drive this car off? The wheel was bent. I had to put on my hazard lights and drive really slow and just crawl. I actually drove straight to the garage for repairs. I didn't even take it home. So just dealing with the whole thing, I remember my wife making a comment in the moment. She says, "You're really calm about this." And she acknowledged me for not getting, completely out of sorts and just going crazy with it. And I remember at the moment, even though I was surprised, there was a conscious thought on my part about, freaking out in this moment and just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And just being unglued was not going to help the situation. It was not going to help manage what was happening to us. And so in that moment, I had a choice. And I've been working on my emotions for quite some time, and I had to just make a decision. I'm going to take charge and not let the total surprise, the startle reflex, have control of this situation. Surprises happen in our everyday life. They just come up. And so we've had a lot of surprises in the past year and a half. We've had a pandemic. We've had working at home. We've had people sick, people dying. I mean, there's just a lot of surprises that we just could not anticipate. And sometimes you may think, well, surprise is something that, I think of as a positive. But the fact is, surprises come in both flavors. Right? They can be good and they can also be really bad surprises. So my accident was a bad surprise. It wasn't something I looked forward to, just as the bill for the repairs was one of those bad surprises. But if we stop and reflect on it, the fact is, with our emotions, we don't really need to judge the good and the bad. What we have to deal with is what is so. Something is happening. We are feeling something. Instead of judging it, instead of reacting and starting to freeze up or to just go completely unglued, The best thing that we can do in those situations is just to breathe, is just to take a moment and to control what we're going through and to realize that we really do have more control than we might realize, than we feel in the moment. But we have to act in line with that. And so take a deep breath, but also coach yourself through the situation. Slow the pace down. The thing about surprises is we often overreact. We just let our heartbeat race away. We let our emotions run away with us. And what we have to do is take charge, center ourselves, come back, and just deal with the reality of the situation the best way that we can. Now, that sounds really simple. I know it's not. It's something that takes practice, but it is something that we can get better at. So I hope this has been helpful. If you want to get practice in working with emotions, I really recommend that you get something like a wheel that I was showing you that will help you to sort out, especially after the fact, what was I feeling and how can I name that experience? Just like for me, it was confusion and being startled in the moment. And then afterwards, we can actually prepare ourselves for the next time I'm feeling confused or startled or the unexpected happens. How can I take charge, remind myself to slow my breath down, my breathing down, and not get so caught up in all the tangle of emotions in the moment? You can watch another video in our Working with Emotions series over here. And if you want a copy of the wheel, check out our links down below and you can get a copy of your own emotions wheel, either a digital copy or a physical form from our shop. So hope this has been helpful. Come back and let's keep learning how we can manage and name our emotions better.